All rise.
The Kosovo Specialist Chambers is now in session.
Please be seated. Good morning. Welcome. Court officer, can you please call the case?
Good morning, Your Honors. This is case KSC BC 2020-04, Specialist Prosecutor versus Pieter Shala.
Thank you. Specialist Prosecutor's Office, can I confirm that you are in the same composition as yesterday?
Same composition, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. And the same goes for Victims' Counsel?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And on my left-hand side, the defense. Could you tell us who's present? Or confirm that you are in the same composition as yesterday?
We are almost the same. Almost the same.
Good.
Mr. Shala, of course. Myself include Mr. Jellison. We are here with Ms. Leto Ferriolu, Zaneta Petrovica, Juliet Haley, Juliette Cole, and Deborah Thiego, who is an intern. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Shala, can you confirm that you hear the translation well?
Yes, I can hear you very well, thank you.
Very well. Today we will hear the testimony of the third defense witness, which is Mr. Nasser Kocinay. Mr. Kocinay will give a testimony without in-court protective measures. We will sit today for 3 regular sessions of 1.5 hours and normal breaks. Very well. Kurt Klek, could you please usher the witness in? Please have a seat, Mr. Kocinay.
Úruniulu Temzati Kocinay. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Kocinay, and welcome to the Specialist Chamber.
Yes.
Good morning.
Oh,
Yes.
Can you hear the witness fine? The microphone is off, Miss.
Yes, I can hear very well, thank you.
Off again. Thank you. Mr. Kocinay, how are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Today we will start with your testimony. And before we begin, I have several remarks. Yeah. Before you are here, you are called to testify in the case of the Specialist Prosecutor's Office versus Mr. Shala in order to assist the panel to reach a verdict. And we will first have you take your solemn declaration. And before we do that, we will give you some guidance and some direction. You're here in this court with the parties, the Victims' Council and the panel. You will be first asked questions by the defense. They are sitting on your left hand, on your right hand side. Yes, I see you nodding. Then on the other side, the specialist prosecutor's office will then ask you questions, and then. Yeah.
Thank you.
And we will be the ones asking you questions, if any, at the end. Yeah, do you understand that?
Yes, thank you.
Before you will be giving your solemn declaration, as I said, you will be given some guidance and some practical advices. So please listen carefully. You will be posed questions. If you don't understand the question, feel free to ask the question to be repeated. Yes? We want you to tell the truth and to tell us what you saw, what you experienced, what you sensed, what you heard. So if you do not see it or hear it yourself, please tell us how you got to know it. You may remember not all the details of the events, so please feel free to say, I don't know, I don't remember. Okay? Don't guess, don't make things up. Is that clear? Yes?
Yes.
Answer the questions that are being put to you. So don't elaborate. If we need clarification, we will ask you some follow-up questions. And in this way, we will receive a very focused testimony. Yes? And I remind you that you have the right to object to provide your testimony on issues that might tend to incriminate you, pursuant to Rule 151, Paragraph 1 of the rules. Do you understand all this?
Yes.
Also some practical advice I would like to give you with regard to your testimony, and that is everything that we say here is translated and recorded. And that means that it is important that you speak into the microphones that are in front of you, that you speak clearly, that you don't nod, because we cannot register that, but that you say it out loud, and that you speak at a slow pace.
Okay.
Yeah? And another direction I would like to give you is that when a question is asked to you, please wait 5 seconds before giving an answer. Because everything that is said here is interpreted and recorded, and that allows the interpretation to be finished before you start speaking. And what we want to avoid is that there are overlapping speakers. If I raise my hand, please stop talking. Yes? And it can happen that we ask you to leave the courtroom, and that will be the case if we have to discuss a question posed to you, and we want to avoid that you are influenced by the discussion that follows. Yeah? If you have any questions, if you need a break, or you want to share something with the panel, please raise your hand, and then I will give you the floor.
Okay.
Yes? And then lastly, you may be asked to make a marking on a piece of evidence on your monitor, and Madame Court Usher will then provide you with a marker in order for you to make the marking. All clear?
Yes.
As I have to do with every witness in this courtroom, I will now ask you to make your solemn declaration. Yeah? And I remind you that it is an offense within the jurisdiction of the specialist chambers to give a false testimony. Do you understand that?
Po.
Yes.
Could you please assist the witness?
Betimi solemn, si
Solemn declaration pursuant to Rule 1412. Conscious of the significance of my testimony and my legal responsibility, I solemnly declare that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that I shall not withhold anything which has come to my knowledge.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. We can now start with the question by the defense counsel. Defense counsel, you have been given 3 hours for your questioning. If there are any changes, please inform the panel. And on a housekeeping note, I see that Mr. Awini is also in the courtroom, so for the record, that is noted now. Defense counsel, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Witness.
mirëmëngjes.
Good morning.
The defense counsel of Mr. Shala, and I would like to ask you some question, and please try to stick to the question. If we have some follow-up question, we will ask you, okay?
Rregull.
Okay.
Yes. Could you please state your name and surname?
Nasser Koçinay.
Nasser Koçinay.
Do you have or did you have a nickname?
Jo.
No, I didn't.
Very clear, thank you very much. And what are your date and place of birth?
Me dytën
2nd December 1970 in Vermits village, Prizren municipality.
Where were you living before the war in 1998?
me Prizren.
In Prizren.
So I would like to know, did you join the KLA?
Po.
Yes.
Are you able enough to explain us in which condition you joined the KLA?
U keq mëso mobilizuar gjithë Kosova.
The entire Kosovo was mobilized and we too joined the KLA.
Could you tell us when you joined the KLA?
Ka qenë nuk më kujtohet kështu me datë.
I don't remember the date, but it was 1998, the year. That was the year when I went to Albania for the first time.
Did you get there?
Kom shkuar në për mal, Bjeshkës.
Through the mountains.
Defense counsel, allow me. Mr. Witness said that he joined the KLA in 1998, but I would prefer to have a little bit more of specificity with regard to 1998. Okay, because this is really broad. We have a winter, an autumn.
First question was so general. I thought I will have a story, but I think I have to insist a little bit. So, I would like to know how you joined the KLA, in which conditions?
Në 98 më shku në Shqipëri.
I went to Albania for the first time in 1998 and I became a member in 1998. That's when I joined.
And in which place in Albania were you?
Në Kukës.
In Kukas.
Po.
So, do I have to understand you joined the KLA in Cooks?
Po.
Yes. I went to Albania for the first time in 1998, got a weapon, and returned to Kosovo.
You elaborate a little bit about that. In which condition, where in Cooks? Because Cooks it's a town. So I would like to have some details. Is it possible?
Na kena shkuar në mënyrë të organizuar për prezant.
We went in an organized manner from Prizren. We went to Kukas, got the weapons, and then returned to Kosovo, and remained in Kosovo until we were expelled by the Serbs and were forced to go to Albania.
So, were you part of a particular group with the name of a group or a brigade or something like that?
Ja, s'ka pas.
No, it did not have a name. I went with my father. He was the organizer. He took us to Albania. He brought us back. There was no name to the group. Whoever wanted to come did so.
So you explained you were expelled from Kosovo, and
Po.
where did you go at this moment?
Në Kukës.
Went to Kukas.
And did you join at this moment? Did you join the KLA?
Jo, ku na kanë përzonë dhe më thonë.
When we were expelled and when the general mobilization of the KLA occurred, that's when I joined the KLA.
It's clear. Thank you very much. And where were you stationed in Cooks?
Unë në Kokës po punu te
I worked in Kukas in warehouse 2. That's where I went initially, and I worked in the uniform warehouse where the KLA soldiers would come to join, and I would issue them with uniforms. That was my job.
And are you able enough to say from when to when you have this duty, this job?
mobilizimi I përgjithshëm I vështirë.
When the general mobilization of the KLA happened, and until the end.
Yes, so, and when did the general mobilization was called? Do you remember the date?
Ja, kujtohet data.
I don't remember the date, but when everybody came, when they expelled us from the houses, that's when the whole of Kosovo mobilized. I don't remember the date though.
Before or after the NATO started the bombing?
Jo para.
Before. When the NATO air campaign started, when everybody was expelled and went to Albania.
Thank you very much. So, and you talk about till the end. Are you able enough to try to provide us with a date or a period of what you call the end?
Derisa ka një KFOR.
That would be until KFOR forces, NATO, that is, entered Kosovo.
So under the control of the court, may I say you were in Cooks Metal Factory, between mid-May 1999 to the very first day of June 1999.
Unë me data nuk I di.
I don't know it in dates, but I know that when K4 entered Kosovo, that's when I returned to Kosovo. I got back to Kosovo together with the German K4 forces.
So, and I suppose we have to understand after the end of the war.
Delen van het luchters.
Until the end of the war.
Which I think it's more clear, I think so.
Yes, you mentioned dates, and it's clear that the witness is not mentioning any dates, but I think that he was very capable of repeating what he had already said with regard to the dates.
Exactly. And I think that's enough. I think so. Thank you very much, Mr. President. So, what was your position within the KLA?
Unë kam qenë logistik,
I was working with the logistics. I worked in the warehouse where Kele uniforms were issued. That's where I worked until the end of the war.
So, during the months you were in the Cooksmetal factory, where did you sleep?
unë kom pas shtëpinë teme në
I had my own house in Kukas. I lived in neighborhood number 3 together with my family. The neighborhood number 3 is in Kukas.
Did you ever sleep in the Cooksmetal factory?
jo, nuk kam
No, there were no conditions for us to sleep there. I only worked there.
forma.
There were uniforms in the warehouse and nothing else.
Yes. Could you please describe the layout of the buildings of the Cooksmetal factory with simple words?
Se kuptova një herë.
I didn't understand the question.
Description of the Cooksmetal factory. And after your question, I will show you, of course, if I am authorized, a picture of the place of the Cooksmetal factory. First, an aerial picture, and then some more pictures.
Where I was, at this warehouse, there was nothing else. Nobody lived there. Where I was, where I worked, I mean.
Could you explain us where was the warehouse in this Cooksmetal factory? When you enter in, where was the warehouse?
Kur kena një, domethënë,
When you enter the door, the warehouse was across the door, in front of the door. That is.
So, Mrs. Court Officer, I would like to show some picture of Cooksmetal factory to the witness. Are you able enough? First, yeah.
I will issue the witness out, and then I would like to discuss something briefly with you. Mr. Witness, Madame Court Usher will usher you out, and we will have a short discussion, and then you will be asked to come back. Thank you.
okay.
Defense Counsel, I have a preference, and that for the next time, like happened yesterday, that you first show the picture and then ask the witness if he recognizes it. Because if you already tell him what you're showing him, the weight of his answer, will be of a different nature than if out of himself he shares with us what it is. And yesterday I told the same to your colleague, please, when you show pictures, do you recognize it? And then you can always tell him, look, this is the cocoa metal factory, and then proceed. Huh? Okay, very well. Madam Court Officer, can you bring the witness back? Well, welcome back, Mr. Witness. Thank you. I give the floor to Defense Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. So, Mrs. Court Officer, I would like to have a picture. It's an aerial photo of the Cook's Metal Factory, ERN SPOA 003303 62-00 330362.
Please proceed, Madam Court Officer.
Yeah, is it possible to turn the image and to focus a little bit on? Thank you very much. So, do you recognize this place?
Po,
Yes, I do.
Okay, are you able to tell us where is the warehouse you are talking about?
Madam Court Usher, could you please assist the witness and giving him a pencil so that he can mark on the picture where he thinks the warehouse is? Thank you.
I'm going to
May I mark here?
store.
The main entrance, the door where you enter. The main entrance was here. This is where I worked, at this building.
Mr. Witness, can you put a 1 at the entrance and a 2 at the place where you worked? Yes, you may proceed. I have one comment. The witness has been talking about the warehouse 2. Warehouse 2. That is the way he called it. And I would like to stick to the language used by the witness.
So, I think we can take the picture down. And to
Then we will proceed with saving the picture and giving it a number for the record.
Your Honor, the markings made by the witness DW405 will be assigned registry ERN number REG 0968.
Thank you, Madam Court Officer. Defense Counsel, you have the floor again.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. So I would like to show to the witness another picture. It's ERN SPOE 40010 264 120 10559 at page 2.
And that is with the same purpose, Defense Counsel?
Absolutely.
Recognition. Very well. Madam Court Officer, please proceed.
So, Mr. Witness, do you recognize this place? And are you able enough to explain what you are seeing now?
I don't remember this place. I remember only the place that I marked earlier with 1 and 2. This one I don't seem to remember.
So I suppose we have to have a number with this picture which has been shown in the hearing.
Microphone, please.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And the witness now has said that he has not recognized it. So I think for now we are set.
That's
it's good.
enough. Okay.
The only moment that we would be giving it an additional number is when we have something new because of the marking.
Okay, that's
Yes?
nice.
Okay, but thank you.
Next, I would like to have the picture ERN SPOA 400 10264 100 10559. I'm sorry, this is the same, I think so, but the page 15 and 16.
And the purpose?
The same, to be able to recognize the place or not.
Madam Court Officer, you may proceed.
Mr. Witness, are you able to recognize this building?
I don't recognize it either.
Yeah, and may we have the other picture? 16. And the same question for you, Mr. Witness. Do you recognize this place?
Only the door I remember whereby I went to the warehouse. These other buildings I don't recollect. I didn't have anything to do with them.
And may I have the same page 12, please?
Defense Counsel, just one clarifying question. Mr. Witness, you just said page 15, line 23, only the door I remember. To which door are you referring? and you may mark it.
There and here,
This is the main door at the entrance.
Okay.
It seems to me like it is the main entrance from this picture.
It, in this case, with a 3. Just to be clear about what you recognized. Thank you, Mr. Witness. I will ask now this picture to be saved because you wanted to proceed to a new picture, Defense Counsel, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. This is the one of page 12.
Yes. We will save first this picture and then we will go to page 12. Thank you. Madam Court Officer, please proceed with saving the picture.
Your Honor, the markings made by the witness DW405 will be assigned registry ERN number REG 00969.
Thank you, Madam Court Officer. Defense Counsel, you have the floor again. And then I will ask Madam Court Officer to go to page 12, it was.
Yeah.
Please.
Could be a little bit focused too much on. Yeah. So, Mr. Witness, do you recognize this place?
It seems to me it was at the warehouse where I worked. From this door here, it must be that.
Thank you very much. We can provide a number to the picture, I think so.
First, I would like to clarify the mentioning of the door. It seems to me it was at the warehouse where I worked from this door here, page 17, lines 5 and 6. Mr. Witness, which door you are referring to?
This door here, this one here.
Okay.
Can you mark it with 4, please? For the moment, I'm not seeing anything.
On the right, I think so.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Mr. Witness, I will, Defense Counsel will now ask to save the picture and to give it a number, to allocate it a number. Madam Court Officer, can you please proceed?
Your Honor, the markings made by the witness DW405 will be assigned registry ERN number REG 00970.
Thank you, Madam Court Officer. Defense Counsel, please proceed.
Thank you very much. So you tell us you work in this warehouse, but what was your duty there?
Ana composto rolin vetëm ja dhon uniform.
My duty consisted only in providing uniforms to the people who came there to join the KLA. I only provided them with uniforms.
Who was the responsible person for this warehouse?
Personi përgjithësi
I had as a superior there Kelmendi was his last name, but I don't recall his name. The one who was mainly responsible for the warehouse.
Night.
Në
Was
shumë kujto
this,
termin në ndërkohë.
If I remember the name in the course of the hearing, I will let you know. Recep Kelmendi, it was.
Mr. Witness, please wait. Please don't talk when the defense counsel is talking, because then we don't receive interpretation. Thank you.
if you have to interrupt me, don't hesitate to raise the hand, and I will stop. So, during the night, was this warehouse closed or open?
Jo, ka qenë e mbyllme.
No, it was closed.
Po me, çdo natë ka qenë.
Yes, every night.
Very much. Who was the person who closed this warehouse every day or every night?
Unë
I did.
erën edhe kam
I closed the door and went home.
And who was the person who opened this warehouse every day?
unë e kom hap.
It was me. I opened it at 8 o'clock in the morning every day. That is the warehouse.
Nobody else make the same sometime?
Nuk e besoj.
I don't think so. Because when I closed the warehouse, I counted the number of uniforms, and on the next morning that I came to work, I counted them again, and they were there was the same number. Because as I said, I was in charge of uniforms.
Thank you very much. And were you aware of anybody, soldier, civilian, who spent a night or few nights in this warehouse?
Jo.
No. No, there were no civilians there.
During the night?
Jo.
No, no, there were no soldiers. There were no conditions there for anyone to sleep. If there were conditions, proper conditions to sleep there, I might have slept there. As I said, we kept there only the uniforms.
So according to you, that sure, not even one time, by exception, nobody slept there.
Korreq.
Nobody, never.
Thank you very much. That's very clear. So I would like to ask you some question about persons. And the first one is about Osman Kriyeziu. Did you know someone called Osman Kriyeziu?
Jo, nuk e një.
No, I didn't.
Two. Great session, Your Honor, for 2 minutes.
Madam Court Officer, can you bring us into private session, please?
Your Honors, we are back in public session.
Thank you, Madam Court Officer. Please proceed, Defense Counsel.
So I would like to know, Mr. Witness, were you part of the Brigade 128?
Pa,
Yes.
so
After we returned to Kosovo, when we drew up the list, I registered also with this brigade, 128.
So if I understand, you confirm there is a list of the members of this brigade.
po kapas.
Yes, there was a list.
Thank you very much. And I would like to know if you know someone called Ziadin Hoxha.
Dio nuk e njeh zgjedhjen hoxha.
No, I don't know Ziadin Hoxha.
Like, do you know someone called Bedri Dervizai?
Po,
Yes, I do.
Was he a member of the same brigade that you're?
po,
Yes.
Do you have an idea about the role he has in this brigade? A simple soldier, an officer, or something like that?
nuk e di, unë ata
I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know what he was. I only worked in the warehouse, and I don't know if they were appointed as commanders in the front line.
Defense Counsel, I would like to have a clarification on something the witness said before we proceed and we go into another topic. So if you allow me to do that. Mr. Witness, you just said page 21, line 19, you said when we returned to Kosovo, we drew up the list. What do you mean with when? What is the time you are talking about?
jo lista artush.
The list was drawn up very late, but as I said earlier, we returned to Kosovo with K4.
So you mean at the end of the war? Is that what you're saying?
Unë kur
When we entered Kosovo, I entered with K4. The list was drew up very late so that we knew where people were. I personally didn't know where people went. I had no information.
My question was, you said we returned to Kosovo with KFOR, and I'm telling you, when was that? Are you able to give a date?
po,
Yes,
data kujtohet për çfarë
I don't recall the day, but on the same day that K4 entered, I entered Kosovo. This went to Prizren with K4 on the same date.
Do you remember the month?
jo s'kujtohet.
Frankly speaking, no. Only I remember it was with K4, but I don't remember the date.
And then if you say, when you say we drew up the list, who's we?
Që I kanë po listën e vet.
When they drew up the list of veterans, war veterans.
Okay, that clarifies a little bit more. Defense Counsel, thank you, Mr. Witness. Defense Counsel, please proceed.
Thank you very much. I will try to help everybody about the date. So, did you hear about the Kumanovo Agreement?
Jo,
No.
It's not helpful, I think so. So during your presence in Cook's Metal Factory in 1999, did you know a person or did you meet a person named Peter Shala?
Jo,
No,
And a person who had a nickname Ushku, Ushki, or something like that, Wolf?
ja, ja, som det jo.
no, I didn't hear of a person with that name.
And to your knowledge, was the nickname Ushku, Ushki, a common nickname in Albania or in Kosovo in 1999?
Nuk e kom dëgju.
I didn't hear it.
If a person named Peter Shala was in the brigade 128, or before this group was called Brigade 128, do you consider that you were informed of it? You were able to recognize this person?
Defense counsel and Mr. Witness, please don't proceed. You have the floor, Madam Prosecutor.
Thank you, Your Honors. I think this question calls for speculation on the part of the witness because he's been asked to whether he would know if someone called Peter Shala had been a member of the brigade. I think the witness already said something about this. It wasn't asked specifically, I believe, about the brigade, but I think this specific question is we're entering into a realm that the witness would not necessarily know and be able to speak about.
I think you can answer this question. I will allow for it. Defense counsel, you have the floor. I think it's good to repeat the question, or maybe we do it otherwise.
Yeah, I can say.
Yeah.
Were you aware about the name or the face of the other person who were part of the Brigade 128? Did you know the other people who were part of this brigade or this group?
Defense
Jo,
counsel.
s'kena mos me një gjithë.
I couldn't possibly know everyone.
I was worried that that Mr. Witness would not understand the question, but he has understood it perfectly.
Yeah, and I tried to answer to my dear colleague to avoid any problem between us. That's sure. So, Mr. Witness, just to be sure, the warehouse you are talking about was the one inside the Cook's Metal Factory.
Po,
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I would like to talk about funeral. Do you remember a funeral taking place in Cook's Metal Factory during the period of war?
vetëm dëshmori Silver Mo.
A martyr was buried there in Kukës. The interpreter did not get the name of the person.
And when was this funeral? Are you able enough to try not to provide us a date, but a period? If you have a date, that's perfect. But a period, at the beginning of your stay in Cook's, at the end, in the middle, to try to have an idea about the timing.
Nuk e di kur u bë varrimi vet.
I do not know when this funeral took place. I don't remember the date. I know only that he was buried in Kukas, but I don't know when, on what date.
Yes, and do you know how this person has died?
Nuk e di.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Defense counsel, apologies to interrupt you. I want to have the transcript clear. Page 25, line 19, you said, so I would like to talk about funeral. And then apparently something got lost. Was that the name?
That's exactly the question I was.
No, I say it because the interpreter said that they did not get the name of the person. And my question is, did you even give a name? And I see...
No, I want to ask one more the question to be sure that the witness understood perfectly well. Do you have the name of this hero, of this martyr?
Po,
Yes. Yes, lawyer, I do.
Are you able enough to provide us with the name?
emri dëshmorit është Silver Moçkaj.
Silver Machkai is the name of the martyr.
Thank you very much. And were you present at this funeral?
Po,
Yes.
Are you able enough to describe what happened at this moment? It was a big crowd, it was very crowded, or what happened?
Please don't provide the witness with answers.
nuk e ka pas në varrim.
There were people present at the funeral, just like on any other funeral, normal amount of people.
And according to you, around how many person?
Kujtohet. Nuk po më
I don't recall. It's been 25 years since. I can't possibly recall. There were people, but not many.
Thank you very much. And I would like to talk about something else now, about another topic. Do you know anything about a medical clinic or doctors being present in the Cook's metal factory?
në fabrikën aty ka qenë Iliri.
Ilir was there at the factory, Ilir Rakai, working as a doctor, but I had no dealings with him because I was in a good health and had no need for a doctor. But I know he was there, and nowadays he is a war invalid.
Yes. And how do you know this person? How do you know him?
Ilirin e kam edhe katunar.
He's a co-villager. He is from Vermeets, and he's a friend. We are more or less of the same age.
Thank you very much. So, during the war, you stay in Cook's, or did you move? Or you stay always in Cook's metal
Jo,
factory?
në Kus kam qëndru.
No, in Cooks.
So, at the end of the war, where were you at the end of the war?
Në Kukës.
In Kukas.
So, and then you, did
Pastaj
you go,
kur
please?
Then when KFOR entered Kosovo, I returned to Kosovo together with KFOR.
And where did you go at this moment when you enter in Kosovo?
kam shku në shtëpi.
I went home.
and what happened when you arrived home?
I went home and I stayed there, did not go out, didn't go anywhere else. I did go out in the town, but not to other places. I only stayed in Prizren.
Okay, that's very nice. Thank you very much. It's over for me, Mrs. President. I consider I received the answer, and that's enough. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Witness.
Thank you.
Counsel. Very well. It is it's 20 minutes to 11. Madam Prosecutor, I would propose that we have a break now for half an hour and that we then continue with the cross-examination. Is that suitable for the SPO?
Yes, Your Honors. Thank you very much.
Okay, very well. Mr. Witness, we will have a break of half an hour now, yes, and then we will continue with the examination by the Specialist Prosecutor's Office.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Half an hour. Thank you. Very well. The hearing is adjourned for half an hour. The hearing is adjourned.
All rise. All rise.
Please be seated. Welcome back. That side is in the same composition. Yes, thank you, Madam Prosecutor. The Victims' Counsel nods too. And here on our left-hand side, yes, thank you, Defense Counsel. We will continue with the examination of the witness. It's the turn now for the Specialist Prosecutor's Office. Madam Court Officer, oh no, Madam Court Usher, please, could you bring the witness in? Mr. Shala, could you hear us fine?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Thank you.
Mr. Shala, can you put off your microphone? Thank you. Mr. Witness, welcome back.
Mr. Ejeta.
Thank you.
We'll proceed with your examination by the Specialist Prosecutor's Office, and before we do so, the panel will issue an oral order regarding the SPO requests to use during the questioning of the witness 3 newly disclosed items, which consist of Facebook posts. The request was made via email yesterday, the 2nd of October at 13:39. The items were disclosed on the same day at 9:32. This is disclosure package 168, and they were already added to the presentation queue for the witnesses. The Defense and Victims Council did not oppose the SPO request. We authorize the SPO to use these items during its examination of the witness. They are limited in number and length. We have not received any objections, and the Victims Council and Defense have had sufficient time to study them. We also have taken note of the SPO request to amend its list of materials and corresponding presentation queue for the questioning of the witness. That was received yesterday by email at 23 minutes past 8. Are there any observations from the side of the Defense and Victims Council?
No, thank you very much. No.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
Very well, thank you. The panel grants the request. The material is not lengthy. It has already been previously disclosed. And we imagine that both the Defense and Victims Council are very well of the content of this material. So, now, I give the floor to the Specialist Prosecutor's Office. Madam Prosecutor, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honors. Good morning, Mr. Coccina. My name is Gaia Pergolo, and I'm one of the counsels of the Specialist Prosecutor Office. I will be asking you several questions today. I'd like to start with some questions on how you became a defense witness. Do you recall when you were first contacted by the defense?
I don't recall. I don't know. I don't remember the exact date. It was perhaps 7 or 8 months ago, but I don't remember the exact date.
Thank you, Mr. Coccina. How did that first contact happen?
We met in Prizren for the first time. They called me. I went. I responded to their call.
How many times did you meet since that first meeting in Prizren and today's testimony?
Maybe 3 times.
Before attending the first meeting, had you read the public redacted version of the indictment against Peter Shala?
No, I didn't.
During the meeting, where you explained the nature of the case against Peter Shala?
I only saw it through television, and the counsel also explained it to me.
Were you able to review the information you provided to the defense after meeting with them?
I didn't see it.
Thank you very much. I will now ask you a few questions about your whereabouts during the indictment period in this case, which is from the 17th of May until the 5th of June 99. You already provided this morning some information about you joining the KLA and your whereabouts. The first question I have is, did you stay at the Kukes metal factory continuously from the period of mobilization until the end of the war?
Paul,
Yes.
Did you ever leave the KLA base at the Kukes metal factory during that period?
vetëm kur kom pas punë, kur kom dal prej
Whenever I had something to do, I would leave. If I had to attend to some personal matters, then I would leave and go to town.
Mr. Kocina, were you ever in Burrell?
nuk kam qenë morali.
I was not in Burel.
Do you have any knowledge of an incident that happened in Burrell in early May 1999?
Jo, nuk e di se s'kam qenë morali.
No, I'm not aware because I was not in Burel.
Your Honors, I would request to go briefly into private session to discuss a matter that is included in documents that are still confidential in this case. That will be just for a few brief follow-up questions and clarifications.
Okay, very well. Madam Court Officer, please proceed to bring us into private session, please.
Your Honors, we are now in public session.
Thank you. Madam Prosecutor, please proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Cocina, did you ever go to Krum?
Io,
No.
Did you participate in Operation Arrow?
io,
No.
Did you ever go to Kalimash?
io,
No.
Did you ever go to Gorozup?
io sam Gorozhop.
No. Neither to Gorozhup.
Thank you very much. I am now moving to a different topic.
Scusa.
You're welcome.
So you told us this morning that you were at the Kukes Metal Factory and you answered a number of questions by the defense about this site. I have a few additional questions about it. And, Your Honors, I would request that the aerial map the defense counsel showed to the witness earlier this morning be again put on the screen for some additional identification.
If you can provide Madam Court Officer again with the references, we can load the evidence on the screens.
Absolutely. It is SPOE 0033 0362. And perhaps maybe it would help if I give also the exhibit number, because that probably includes the whole year-end range. It's P00078. Although, apologies, I now realize that since this was given a registry number now, that there will be a different identification, so it will be REG 00968. We can use the same map that was already marked and take it from there.
Very well, we proceed in that way. Madam Court Officer, can you swap, please? Thank you for that. Madam Prosecutor, you have the floor.
Mr. Cocina, was there a kitchen within the Kukes Metal Factory?
Così non kujtohet vallaj.
I don't remember whether there was a kitchen. I would go from 1 to 2. I would stay there. If I had to go somewhere to attend to personal matters, then I would go out to the town.
So let me see if I understand correctly. Where did you eat during your functions and work at the Kukes Metal Factory?
Unë kam marrë në lagje 3,
I stayed in neighborhood 3. My family was there, and I would go and eat there.
Every single day you were going outside
po.
the metal.
Every single day, yes.
Po, çdo ditë.
Yes. Every day I would go out and come back.
Mr. Cocina, we're looking now at this map in front of us. You marked with the number 2 the warehouse where you worked. Is that correct?
Po,
Yes.
We see, however, in this map, another building next to the one you marked with the number 2. Do you know what that is? To the left of the number 2 building?
unë nuk po më di çfarë është vetë.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it was one single building. I don't remember. I do know only this building where I worked, number 2.
Mr. Kocina, where was the food and the weapons arriving at the Kukas Metal Factory? Where they were kept? Do you remember? Do you know?
Arm nuka pos.
Where I worked, there were no weapons, only uniforms.
Mr. Kocina, were there any toilets within the premises?
Tuku kumpununa.
Where I worked, no.
Where did you go to relieve yourself, Mr. Kocina, when you were working your shifts at the Kukas Metal Factory?
On a Kamdal.
I went out of there, I went to the town.
Is it your testimony that every single time you had to relieve yourself, you went into town?
Yes, because my house was nearby, so I went to my home.
Then I would like to know, sorry for interrupting you, how far was your house from the place you worked, Mr. Witness?
Very near. In 10 minutes, I will be there.
I will give the floor back to you, Madam Prosecutor. I remind you that you have to tell the truth. Huh?
And so, Mr. Kocina, do I understand correctly that every time you had to use the toilets, you would undertake a trip of about 20 minutes per time in and out of the metal factory during your working hours?
Yes.
Did you ever ask, perhaps, whether there were toilets that you could have used more easily within the premises?
I didn't ask anyone about the toilets. I told you I only gave them uniforms and they went, and I don't know anything else. I'm telling you what I know.
I remind you again, Mr. Witness, that you have to tell the truth. So, just telling you, and just give it a good thought.
I am telling the truth, Your Honor. I'm telling the truth for myself.
Was there a special reason that you did not ask for if there were any toilets at the premises?
I dealt only with Recep Kelmendi from PEA, and I have nothing to do with other persons. That was the only person I asked when I wanted to go out.
That was not an answer to my question. I'm just trying to understand that why you would go, huh? And maybe there was a medical reason why you would go. And if there's a medical reason you don't want to share in public, we can go into private. But if there was a special reason that you would not go to the toilet on the premises, And you informed us that you didn't know about the toilet, that you didn't ask for a toilet, but just let us be clear. Normally on a premises so big as... No, please let me talk and don't interrupt me, because it becomes unworkable. I'm just trying to figure out, to understand why you would not go on the premises, because it would be very normal that on a premises of this nature, there would be at least one toilet. So there would be it's not obvious that you would go out of the premises to go to the toilet somewhere else. I'm just calling things by its name. And you are here to give an answer, and you must give an answer, and you must answer truthful. And so I'm asking you, was there a reason for you not to go to the toilet at the premises?
Maybe there was a toilet. I don't remember, Your Honor.
Or to Madame Prosecutor, and we note what you just told us. Madame Prosecutor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honors. Mr. Cucina, you told us just now, page 36, line 18, that where you worked, there were no weapons. You told us that you were dealing only with the uniforms. Do you know, however, if any weapons or any food was arriving at the Kukas Metal Factory?
Only uniforms came to that factory. I wasn't responsible for weapons or for anything else, only for uniforms, to provide them to the people who came there.
I understand you were responsible for the uniforms. I'm asking you whether you knew where the weapons were arriving, and considering...
I don't know. I have no knowledge about that.
Did you know whether food was ever arriving at the Kukas Metal Factory?
I don't remember. Maybe there came food, but I don't remember.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. I would now like to show the witness a number of photographs. And if Your Honors allow, I will proceed by calling them on the screen. It is the same year-end number that I will repeat, that out of which Defense Counsel showed a number of pictures earlier this morning.
Madam Prosecutor, I will allow for it, but just one remark to Mr. Witness. Mr. Witness, how many months did you spend at working at this warehouse too?
From the beginning to the end. I don't recall dates.
The beginning to the end, from Alpha to Omega.
Yes, until I returned to Kosovo.
What I remember is that you said that it was from before the NATO started bombing. Or may I say it differently? Is it your testimony that you have been there several months?
Yes.
And is it your testimony that in those several months you never saw, during the day when you were working there, any food arriving at the premises where you worked?
Maybe some food arrived, but I don't remember, Your Honor. I dealt only with the uniforms. Maybe there was foodstuffs there, but I don't know.
Responsible for. I'm also asking you about what you have seen yourself when you were there. And then I will ask you another question. Do you have problems with your memory in general?
Many years have passed. I have forgotten. I remember only what I did, the work I did. I don't remember about other things.
Things.
No, I don't know. If I knew, I would talk about them.
That you are, of course, if you don't remember, you should not make up anything, but please do your best to recall, because that's the duty, that's the reason you are brought here, yeah? To tell us everything you can remember. Madam Prosecutor, you may proceed.
May I then call up item number 5 in our list of materials, which is SPOE 40010-264 to 40010-559. And then if I could please have picture at page 34, which is also ending in 297 on the screen.
Please proceed, Madam Court Officer.
Mr. Witness, do you recognize this picture?
Yes.
What is it?
At the warehouse. The entrance.
Can you then confirm that this is the entrance that you marked with the number 1 on the map that we just saw before?
Yes.
May I now have page 12 of this document?
Also for the purpose of recognition.
Yes.
Please proceed, Madam Court Officer.
Mr. Witness, I believe you already identified this picture this morning with Defense Counsel, but I just want to ask you to confirm what is this picture again?
Where I worked, that I mentioned earlier.
Thank you. May I now have page 156 of this same document?
Please proceed, Madam Court Officer.
Mr. Witness, do you recognize this picture?
Io,
No.
Does it not remind you of anything?
kur kom shkuar që tash,
When I went there, it seems to me like the one I saw when we put that sign that we saw earlier on the door. It seems to me that that was the place.
Can you perhaps clarify what you mean by when we went to put that sign that we saw before? Can you explain that?
kur kena shku me vë
When we went there to put the plug, then I entered the wards and I remember that I think I saw this.
Perhaps there is an error in the transcript, or maybe I'll ask the witness to clarify when he said, then I entered the wards. What do you mean by that?
te magazina.
At the warehouse.
So is this the warehouse where you worked?
Jo,
No.
Was there any other warehouse at the Kukës Metal Factory?
që ajo që ka qenë
The one that I marked with number 2.
But number 2 is the one where you used to work, isn't it?
po që të si kum po.
Yes, but this I didn't see.
Your Honor,
Që të nuk I kum po.
This I haven't seen.
Is it something we can share with the witness present?
I believe so, yes. It's just an observation. Perhaps in fairness to the witness, we could explain when the picture was taken, because it's considerably long after he was at the particular place.
Yes, but I don't think that Madam Prosecutor is referring to the things inside, but to the building, the inner side of the building. But I don't think there is a problem with mentioning the date when the picture was taken.
Absolutely. Let me, just to be correct, I believe this was in 2009, but I will double check to be sure. Apologies, it was actually in May 2019, actually. So this was not during the time you were there, Mr. Witness. However, you seem to have recognized this space as a space where you have been. Is that correct?
Mos më kujtoh që
I don't remember to have seen these things that are here.
identifiku tash tamam.
I can't identify them now. They were not there.
I think it's important, and I see that you're standing, it's important to clarify to the witness what you are asking him to, to say if he recognizes or not. And I'm under the impression that there is a misunderstanding between the things that are situated in the building itself and the building as such.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd be happy to clarify. I see counsel is standing.
Please, defense counsel, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor, and excuse me. Just for extra clarity, one additional information. The question put by my learned colleague was, this is a space where you have been. I think when the witness answered, he referred to put in a plug. So probably speaking about another event or occasion, so maybe it's better to have it clear what he is referring. I have an idea, but I'm not testifying what the plug should be put in the plug.
We will proceed to see if... I will give the floor to Madam Prosecutor, and we will proceed to see if he can recognize or not the inside of this building.
Thank you, Honors. Yeah, Mr. Witness, my question was whether you recognize the building, the space, not any particular object in it. And again, you answered earlier that this is where you have been to put this plaque. Is this accurate?
The plug is outside at the entrance. But what I'm seeing here, these walls, these things, I don't remember to have seen. From inside, I don't remember. Maybe if I look at it from outside, I don't remember to have seen these things inside the building, only uniform.
Question is, I would like to know, then I will give the floor back to Madam Prosecutor. I just want to understand if you recognize or not the inside of this building, so the windows, the walls, at the back part there are 2 doors, the ceiling. That is I'm not interested in the things. I just want to know if this is the building where you worked in. That is what I want to know. Or and I can formulate it differently, if you recognize this building as the building where you worked in. And please don't wait. And please don't circle around the question. Or around the answer, more specifically.
I can't tell that this was the warehouse or I was, now that I see these objects inside. So I can't give you an exact answer because I don't remember these things. Maybe if you show it to me from the outside, I can tell you whether it was this building.
I will leave it here, Mr. Witness. I note your answer for now, but I will give the floor back to Madam Prosecutor, and it could be that she wants to proceed some more on this. Although, no, I will have one more question to you. When we were discussing the plaque in front of these premises, did you visit the inside of this building when the plaque was put outside the building, outside the premises?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Then for sure you went inside, but you cannot confirm that this building, yeah, this picture, because no, I will put it differently. You recognize this building as the building where you went to the day that the plaque was put outside this premises.
Oh.
Yes.
And do you remember if this building from the inside was the building where you worked during your time at Warehouse 2?
Maybe it is the same, but these objects inside, these prevent me from confirming it. Maybe it is the same building. Maybe it's the same warehouse I used to work.
Mr. Witness, I'm just trying to clarify. I am not trying to get an answer for you from you left or right, or that's not my intention at all. But I'm just trying to understand. You went to the premises of this factory to have this plaque installed there.
Oh,
Yes.
And you went to this building. You could not remember. Remember if that was the building where you also worked in. That's your testimony.
nu pun cu uite o gestor.
I don't remember, Your Honor. Maybe it is the same building. From the outside, yes, but from the inside, I can't confirm it.
Peter, I leave it to you.
Thank you, Your Honors. May I now have another picture on the screen, which is page 157.
Clarify what the purpose is of this picture?
Yes, it is still for some for identification purposes.
Very well, Madam Court Officer, you may proceed.
Mr. Kocina, do you recognize this picture?
Acum ținem sub glumă.
Can you zoom it out, please? I can't make sure it is the door.
Does it work better now?
Eu nu cred că sub glumă.
No, no.
Mr. Witness, you said, I can't make sure it is the door. Which door are you talking about?
De la magazinas.
The door of the warehouse.
Where was this door of the warehouse?
Și că nu pun cu uite o dată.
I don't remember it now.
The building or outside the building?
Brenda drătis.
Inside the building.
Ima scrisoare ca cen drejt.
If you entered from at the main entrance, walk straight, you went to the warehouse.
And where was this door situated inside the warehouse? Did you ever cross this door?
Nu pun cu uite o că de era.
I don't seem to recall this gate, this door.
You did recall this gate. You recognize it.
Madam Prosecutor, I see defense counsel standing. You have the floor.
Sorry for the interruption, Your Honor, my learned colleague. I think there is a confusion here because we also remember that the witness is referring to the whole premise as warehouse as well. So there is a little bit of confusion. I think when he asked to zoom out, is to be shown a picture from further away, I think. Because what we read into inside the warehouse could be meaning inside the whole premise, because he called the whole premise the warehouse. That's the confusion we might need to clarify, Your Honors.
We might proceed, but it is my recollection that Madam Prosecutor said inside or outside, and then he confirmed with inside. So, and I don't think it's outside the premises. So, but for reasons of clarity, there can always be a misunderstanding. I'm happy to have the question repeated.
Perhaps, Your Honor, I would like to do it slightly different because I believe this morning the witness identified the entrance door to the warehouse from the courtyard. So, and I think these two doors are, again, we would see them, but I think they look quite different.
If you take on board the point that has just been made in order to be sure that there's no misunderstanding, you may proceed with your examination as you deem necessary.
Thank you. Then Maybe I will perhaps ask if these photographs that were showed this morning can be shown again to the witness, and the ERN number is REG 00970.
Please proceed, Madam Court Officer.
Mr. Witness, earlier this morning, you marked with number 4 the entrance to the warehouse. Is it correct?
Yes, that's the one with number 4.
The door you used to enter the warehouse when you went to work.
Yes, I would go inside through this door.
Is this door the same that we saw in the previous picture?
That one I cannot remember, but this one here with number 4, I do. It is a door through which I would go inside, but the other door that I seem not to remember.
Your Honors, I would like to try to clarify one more thing with respect to this issue with the witness. And then I would need again to call up the aerial map of the factory. And I will provide the ERN number, which is, the exhibit number is P00078. And again, the marked today by registry is REG 00968.
Please proceed, Madam Court Officer.
Mr. Witness, we see on this map the warehouse marked with number 2. That's where you said you used to work. I asked you earlier whether you recognized or knew the building next to it, which is the building on the left-hand side of number 2. And you said that you didn't know. You only knew the uniform warehouse.
I'm sorry. With your authorization. I would like to explain something, but without the presence of the witness.
Very well, Defense Counsel. Mr. Witness, I will ask Madam Court Usher to accompany you out, and we will have an exchange on the question. I see you back in 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's okay.
You have to.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I would like to focus on one thing with the panel. If we take a look at the picture, the aerial picture we have on the screen, we say the warehouse with a number 2. This is not the picture of the warehouse with a number 2.
No, but we know.
Yeah, exactly. But when we were on the spot, I don't want to be witness in my case, of
No,
course.
no, but I know what you're saying, and I know what where we are.
These big doors were open, and in reality, it doesn't look like this. I didn't realize that this big door, was so huge, may I say, because it was close, and we had the feeling it was like a continuation of the hall, may I say, of the halls. And I consider when I see the number 2 that's the other side of the window could be the warehouse. That's what I wanted to focus on. But I see that you understand perfectly well, so I don't want to say something.
But I'm very happy that you raised the point, just to have it clear for all of us, because if I would not be aware, it could complicate maybe the conversation. So please always feel free to raise an issue you think it's necessary to raise with us. So yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Your Honors, yes, we will just to react on this. We will take that on board. Our purpose was not to mislead the witness as to the identification of a building where he worked by showing a picture that was not where he worked. So we were just asking whether he was able to recognize this building, because we're trying to ascertain a number of things, but that was the only reason. So we will, of course, keep what counsel said into consideration.
But I don't think, at least for the panel, I was not under the impression that there was any type of misleading in this sense. Yes, if views have been exchanged, then we can proceed. Madame Court Officer, could you ask Madame Court Officer to bring the witness in? Welcome back, Mr. Witness. I will give the floor
Thank you.
to Madame Prosecutor, and she will continue with her questioning.
Mr. Witness, we were talking about the building that we see on this image next to what you marked as number 2. And you told us that you didn't know what that was. Is this correct?
I know what number 2 is.
Apologies, perhaps my question wasn't clear. I was referring to the building next to it, and in the picture you see it with the lighter gray on the left side of what you marked as number 2. Is this correct?
This was attached to number 2. It was one structure attached with that door.
Think you very much, Mr. Witness. So that door that you were talking about, is that the metal door, I think we can describe it in this way, that we saw earlier in the picture?
The door itself, I don't recall. I would go inside through that door that I marked with number 2, whereas this building was attached to the building I marked with number 2. Maybe there was a door, but I don't remember.
We can ask the witness to mark with another number this other part of the building, so at least we are clear as we proceed, if that is...
Mr. Witness, can you mark the building next to the building where you used to work with number 5?
This one.
Thank you. That's clear. Madam Court Officer, can you save this picture and allocate it a new number, please?
Shall I proceed, or I thought I was waiting for...
We are, Madam Prosecutor, we are waiting because it's better that the court officer has her full attention with everything that is going on in the court. So we finalize this administrative matter and then we proceed. We have an issue of a technical nature, so we will ask IT to come in to assist. So we have to wait for a moment. We have to exercise some patience. I was updated that IT personnel is coming to try to resolve the issue. We'll see if it can be resolved in a couple of minutes. If not, we will adjourn for 5 or 10 minutes. But it's too early to take a break. We just started. We're just working 1 hour. So, Mr. Witness, we have to be patient for a little moment.
There's no problem, Your Honor. No problem at all.
We will adjourn the hearing for now. I will first usher the witness out. Mr. Witness, you will be ushered out till the technical issue has been resolved. So Madame Court-Usher will accompany you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
As soon as the issue has been solved, we will come back and continue with our hearing. The hearing is adjourned.
All rise. All rise.
Please be seated. Welcome. After the break, let me see. In the same composition is the SPO team. The same goes for the Victims' Council's team. And here on my left-hand side, are you in the same composition?
Yeah, we are the same composition, excepting for Ms. Cariolo, who was unable to appear before the court.
Thank you. And Mr. Shala is with us. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Good. Before we continue, there are two matters to discuss. I will give you the floor, Defense Counsel, for a point you wanted to make. But before that, I want to discuss briefly the numbering of one of the documents, because we were in the process of saving a document in order to allocate a number to it. And before the break, during the SPO's cross-examination, Mr. Witness made an additional marking on an item, and that item had already been marked earlier today during the examination in chief by defense, and was assigned number REG 00968. And the court officer was in the process of saving the new marking as a new document when we encountered this technical problem, and we had to adjourn the session. Now, the computer automatically saved the new markings over the documents previously saved as REG 00968. And now we have one document with both the markings of the defense, which were marked in red color during examination in chief, and a marking made in black during cross-examination. And considering that both markings are now saved on one document, we will retain it as such instead of having two separate items, like was our intention. And this one item will also retain the number REC 00968. Yes, just to be clear on the record what has happened with the numbering of this document. Defense Counsel, Mr. Ouini, can I give you the floor?
Thank you, Your Honor, and good afternoon to Your Honors and to everyone. Your Honor, we wanted to address one point for clarification
Your Honors, we appreciate the clarifications from the defense on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Victims' Counsel, anything you want to address?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Very well. Then we can proceed with the cross-examination by the prosecutor's office. Court clerk, can you please usher the witness back into the courtroom? Welcome back, Mr. Witness.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We're able to have some rest. We will now continue with the cross. We will now continue by Madam Prosecutor. I will give her the floor to continue.
Thank you, Your Honors. Good afternoon, Mr. Kocina.
Good afternoon, Madam Prosecutor.
I would like to call again on the screen the picture we were discussing and that we were just discussing before, and that the witness marked before the technical error occurred, and it's REG 00968.
Please proceed, Madam Court Officer. Mr. Shala, could it be that your microphone is on?
Paul?
Yes. No.
I heard some background noise. I'm not accusing you for not switching off the microphone, Mr. Shala. Sorry, I'm just trying to make clear where that noise comes from, because it distracts a little bit from our main task. Okay, now let us proceed.
Mr. Witness, before the break, we were looking at this image in front of you, where you had marked with the number 5 a building. And before the break, you told us that building 5 was attached to building 2 with a door. Is that correct?
Paul?
Yes.
Do I understand correctly that the 2 buildings were connected from the inside?
There was an internal door.
Mr. Witness, did you ever go to building 5?
The one that was attached, yes, because they were completely attached. There was no door in between. There was only one entrance to the building from where you could go in and out of the entire structure.
Thank you. What was inside building 5.
Që ndërtesa numër 5 ka pas uniforma.
Building number 5 had uniforms inside. From number 2 to this one, the entire place was filled with uniforms.
So if I understand correctly, you are telling us that the two buildings, 5 and 2, were only filled with uniforms.
Po.
Yes.
Were you working then in both buildings?
Unë kom punu te
I worked in this area that was one space. There was no door in between. There was one door from where you could enter the building and come out. There was no division.
To clarify, if you say, Mr. Witness, there was no division, or let me put it more open, no division between what?
mes që sa dyshit edhe
Between 2 and 5. I would go in through one door, and then I could move freely in the entire warehouse. There was no door in between.
Thank you, Mr. Witness.
Mr. Witness, you told us this morning that where you worked, which I now understand to comprise both Building 5 and Building 2, there were no weapons, and that you were only responsible for the uniforms.
po.
Yes.
Do you know, however, if there were weapons at all at the metal factory?
Nuk e di.
I don't know that. I don't remember.
Ka pas arma aty në fabrikën e metal.
I don't remember that there were weapons there at the metal factory.
But was the Cook's metal factory used for KLA soldiers and fighters?
Po.
Yes.
You saying that those fighters would not have any weapons to fight with?
Aty ku kanë ardhur prej Merg
People who came from the diaspora, from abroad, from Kosovo, they would come there in civilian clothes, they would get uniforms and leave. Where they got their weapons, that I don't know. I was not in charge of that. My duty was to provide them with uniform. As to where they left and went to afterwards, that I don't know, and I wasn't interested. It wasn't part of my job.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. I would like to show you now another picture, and for this purpose, again, for identification reasons, Your Honors, we can take down the image that we have in front of us, and I would request that we go back to some of the pictures that we were looking at before.
Madam Court Officer, please proceed with pulling up the document, and Madam Prosecutor will be requesting.
The ERN range is SPOE 400 264 2400 10559. And if we could please have on the screen picture ending in 290 or the one at page 27. Mr. Witness, do you recognize this picture?
No concreto sanskrit.
I can't remember what this is. I don't remember.
Thank you. May I have now another picture on the screen, again for recognition purposes, and this time as a different year-end number.
Please proceed, Madam Court Officer.
And the exhibit number is P00093, year-end 07 4390 to 07 4391. And if we could have the first page. Mr. Witness, do you perhaps recognize this photograph instead?
Joo, stanno veniva.
No, I don't recognize this one either. I don't know what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. I think we can put this down for now. Mr. Coccini, I would now like to ask you a few questions about the metal factory, its layout, and a few other things connected to it. First of all, while you were performing your work at the warehouse, or when you were arriving there, were you able to visit any other building within the compound?
When I went there, when I would go there, I would go straight to the building marked with number 2. I stayed there the whole time. That's where the uniforms were, and that's where I issued soldiers with uniforms. I did not move from that one. I only stayed in that building.
You told us this morning, and this is at transcript page 27, lines 15 to 17, that there was a doctor there. How do you know that he was at the Kukas Metal Factory?
The doctor came to the warehouse where I was and got his uniform, and that's where we got to know each other.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. So you mentioned that there were people coming to the warehouse to get their uniforms. So I would like to ask you, was the Kukas Metal Factory a busy place?
There was movement, people coming from the Western countries and from Kosovo and other places who joined the KLA. They all came there, and there was movement. They would get their uniforms and leave.
How many people do you estimate were present at the Kukës Metal Factory during the period you worked there, approximately?
Qysh kanë mujtë marrë prej jashtit?
Depending on the number of them coming from abroad, 50 or 60, there was movement on a daily basis. It's not that people would arrive just on one day and never again.
So you're saying that there were people who were coming from abroad and from Kosovo, I understand. Do you know where did they go once they get their uniform?
Jo, nuk e di.
No, that I don't know. They would get your uniforms and left. It was of no interest to me to know where they were going. They had their own tasks and duties.
Did you see any uniformed soldier on the premises?
Po patjetër. Aty
Yes, of course, that's where they would put on their uniforms.
Did any of these soldiers stay in these premises for more than the time necessary to get the uniform?
jo, s'kan qëndru aty askush.
No, nobody stayed there longer. They just would get their uniforms and leave.
So you're saying that all of the people who came to get their uniforms came there, got the uniforms, and left the same day?
Po, kanë mujtë mik, po.
Yes, they left the same day. They had no place to stay there. They went to other places.
Do you know if any of these soldiers ever slept at the warehouse? Sorry, apologies, at the Kukës Metal Factory.
Jo, s'ka mujtë në fjetë aty, se s'ka.
No, they could not sleep there because there were no conditions.
And you're saying there were no conditions in the entire Kukës Metal Factory?
Unë po foli vetëm për
I'm only speaking about the place where I worked. There was no room to sleep. For the rest, I don't know.
Did you see people who were not wearing uniforms at the Kukës Metal Factory?
jo, aty s'ka mujtë në pas.
There could be no such there. Of course, when they arrived in civilian clothes and they dressed, put on their uniforms and left.
So these people with no uniforms came inside the warehouse. You saw them there.
Po,
Yes.
Mr. Witness, were there any detainees at the Kukës Metal Factory?
Ja.
No,
Så att det är ja.
not where I was.
Were there any detainees anywhere else at the Kukës Metal Factory, not where you were working?
Nuk e di për të tërkon. Så att det är ja.
I don't know about other places, but where I was, there wasn't any.
Thank you. I have a few more questions about your work at the metal factory. First of all, were you the only person in charge of the warehouse?
Jag kom pas Recep.
No, Recep Kelmendi was the person in charge of the warehouse. I was not alone.
So was it only you and Mr. Kelmendi working at the warehouse?
Ja, Recep I ka qenë pikëshyrës.
No, Recep was a supervisor. He worked in another office. I worked in the warehouse, and I got my orders from him whenever we had to issue uniforms.
So you told us earlier that the warehouse where you worked was comprised two parts, part 2 and part 5, all of them full of uniforms. Were you the only person discharging the duties of issuing uniforms to the soldiers?
Ja, kanë qenë të revit atjerë aty.
There were 3 other persons who Recep had brought. I don't know their names, but he had brought these 3 soldiers, KLA soldiers. They were from the Pea area, but at this moment I can't remember who they were.
So were these people from Peja also working in the warehouse?
Po, dhe këta, po, kanë punë në magazin.
Yes, they worked at the warehouse.
Issuing uniforms to new recruits?
Po, një të...
Yes, we did the same job.
Thank you. I would like you to describe now your typical day at the Kukës Metal Factory. At what time did you get there in the morning?
Kanë 8 ora kom shku gjatë.
At around 8 o'clock, always.
What were your working hours?
Dere 4, 5.
Until 4 or 5, depending on the number of people coming to get uniforms, but usually until 4 or 5.
You told us earlier that you went to eat back in Kukëstown. So is it correct that you took a lunch break?
Po, se kom pas. Po, kom shku në
Yes, I would go home.
After finishing your work, did you immediately leave the metal factory?
Po.
Yes.
Mr. Cucina, how did the uniforms arrive to the Kukës Metal Factory?
I kanë përkrejt për jashtë.
They were brought from abroad, from Germany, Switzerland, Italy. They were all coming from abroad. There were American, Swiss, German uniforms, and everything came there, arrived there.
How were they physically transported to the metal factory?
Igen, på med kamion.
By trucks.
How many trucks did arrive each day, approximately, if you can make an estimation?
I don't remember. I can't tell you exactly how many.
Would you be able to give us an approximate number, just an idea?
Frankly speaking, I can't remember. I know that they came every day, but I don't know how many.
Was anyone helping you to bring the uniforms in the warehouse?
Yes. Those 3 persons that Recep Kelmendi brought there. So together with these 3, we arranged the uniforms. We were altogether 4 people.
Mr. Cucina, during the second half of May until the beginning of June 1999, did you ever see any persons of Roma ethnicity at the Kukes metal factory?
Yeah.
No.
Did you know if any Roma musicians were at the Kukes metal factory during the time you were there?
Yes, capaz.
No, there weren't any when I was there.
Madam Prosecutor, can you indicate to the panel how much time you think you will be needing still?
Yes, Your Honors. I think I will probably need maybe another hour or 45 minutes.
Okay. Because you are exceeding the time allocated in principle to you, because our agreement is that less or more for cross you might need, you will be given the same amount of time as in examination in chief. However, for now I've seen the relevancy of the questions you are posing, but please keep this in mind.
Yes, Your Honor. So I'll try
Because
to...
you would be exceeding extensively the amount of time, but as long as you can show that it's relevant for the case, then you may proceed. But it would have been better to anticipate this and to tell us this. And now I've seen that I already gave you a little bit more, and now we're really standing in front of much more time. And we have it, that's not a problem, but I'd like to be put on notice before.
Absolutely, Your Honor. Point taken. I'll try to see if I can perhaps shorten some of my...
No, but that was not the gist of my question. I just want, as far as it's relevant, all parties and Victims' Counsel will get the time needed. It's for the defense, for Victims' Counsel, and for the SPO.
Thank you. So, Mr. Cucina, you told us that there were trucks coming to take uniforms to the warehouse, that the warehouse with uniforms had 2 parts full of uniforms. And you told us that there was only 4 people, you and 3 people, to unload these uniforms from the trucks and bring them to the metal factory. Is that your evidence?
Yes, that's correct.
Mr. Kocina, are you aware of two public judgments issued by the District Court of Mitrovica and the Basic Court of Mitrovica convicting individuals, in particular Sabighetsi and Zemshik Krasniqi, for illegally detaining individuals at the Kukes metal factory at the time you were there?
Not there.
I don't understand that answer. Question is, are you aware of two public judgments issued by the District Court of Mitrovica and the Basic Court of Mitrovica convicting individuals, in particular Sabighetsi and Mr. Krasniqi, for illegally detaining individuals at the Kukos metal factory? That is the question, if you are aware of these judgments.
I heard about that on TV.
But you never saw any people detained at the Kukes metal factory?
No, I never saw anyone being detained. Not where I was. Because every day there were 50 or 60 people coming there, so it was not possible to detain anyone.
I noticed that you said that you never saw anyone being detained where you were. And I'll just follow up one last time on this topic. Were you aware, did you ever see anyone being detained anywhere else in the premises of the Kukes metal factory?
No, prosecutor, I didn't see.
Mr. Witness, are you aware that the District Court of Mitrovica also acknowledged that some of these detainees were forced to work long hours in the warehouse every day, unloading trucks of supplies for the KLA?
This is not true. Not where I was.
Defense counsel, I see you're standing.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is the second time, I think. This witness is not a legal expert to be asked about his awareness of some legal documents. He's a witness of facts. She can ask him about the facts. We know the basis. And, I mean, we repeat some of the questions multiple times where it's clear what he is answering. So she can ask him about unloading, which was done. Why do we have to put that this is coming from judgment?
I think it's completely legitimate to indicate that there are judgments on this subject and to confront the witness with it. And he can reply as he is doing.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. In fact, I was only asking about a fact, whether he knew of these judgments at all. Mr. Witness, I would now like to ask you a few questions about certain individuals. Do you know a person called Sabighetsi?
I saw him on television.
Did you ever see him anywhere else other than in television?
Yeah.
No.
Did you ever see him at the Kukes metal factory?
Yes.
No, I didn't see him.
Do you know a person called Zemshik Krasniqi?
Oh.
Yes.
En njeh se kam
I know him because he's a co-villager. We are from the same place.
Did you ever see Mr. Krasniqi at the Kukës Metal Factory?
s'm kujtohet.
I don't remember.
Do you know whether Mr. Krasniqi was also a member of Brigade 128?
Jo,
No,
No, you don't know, or no, he wasn't a member?
nuk ka qenë.
he was not a member. Because I know from the list of veterans that he wasn't.
Defense counsel, I wanted to finish the witness with his question. What would you like to say?
No, Your Honor, I think we have an answer now, but we were surprised because we don't know what is the basis to link Krasniqi with this brigade. We understand that he comes from another brigade, but it's been answered. It's not a problem anymore.
Mr. Witness, do you know a person called...
I'm sorry. I think it is a big problem. They provide the information, a wrong one, to the witness. Mr. Krasniqi, we don't have any document and any information about the fact he was part of the Brigade 128. Why to submit this to the witness? Is it a trap?
Madam Prosecutor.
Your Honors, I was asking, and the question is recorded there for everyone to see whether he knew whether Mr. Krasniqi was also a member. I didn't put to him that he was a member. I was asking whether he had any knowledge of his membership. That was an open question, and I was just going to explore this with the witness. The witness said that no, he wasn't, and we got the answer.
Defense counsel, to be
That's
honest,
fine.
that's the way
That's fine.
I understood it, and I agree with you that we will not allow for the witness to be confronted with information that is not correct. But I had interpreted as Madam Prosecutor has just explained. Yes?
I received the information and the answer. I understand it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Prosecutor, please proceed.
Mr. Witness, do you know a person called Mark Shala?
Jo,
No,
Do you know a person called Bedri Azemi?
jo,
no,
Do you know a person called Fadil Zeinullahu?
fadizën
yes, I saw him once in Pristina. I remember him from that time.
Did you ever see him at the Kukës Metal Factory?
Jo, se kom
No, I didn't see him there. I met him in Pristina, but not in the metal factory. Maybe I saw him there, but I didn't recognize him then.
Mr. Witness, do you know a person called Bedri Dervishaj?
po,
Yes,
How do you know him?
jemi shoh
we are friends, and we have an in-law relationship with them for years.
When was the last time you saw Mr. Dervishaj?
kur e kom takue pra
About 4 or 5 days ago when I met him in Prizren.
Did you ever see him at the Kukës Metal Factory when you were there?
jo, se kom po.
No, I didn't.
Nuk kom dolu në fort aty, unë kam
I used to stay within the premises of the warehouse. I wasn't interested to go outside and look around. I was keen only on doing my job. I wasn't interested in other things. My job was to provide the uniforms, and that was it. I wasn't interested in what was going on there.
Did you ever see,
Madam Prosecutor, please. Defense Counsel, you have the floor.
Sorry to interrupt, Your Honors. Just to correct the transcript with the name before it goes away, I think my learned colleague asked about Bedri Azemi, and it's recorded Ademi. But I have the impression that I heard Bedri Azemi.
I agree. I heard with the
Yes,
set. But
before it goes away.
Let us confirm it with Madam Prosecutor. It's line 23, page 72.
yes, indeed, is actually Bedri Azemi with a Z.
Thank you for this clarification, Defense Counsel. But I also see in the transcript that it was to be revised yet. You have the floor again, Madam Prosecutor.
Mr. Witness, did you ever see Peter Shala, the Cookers Metal Factory?
Io,
No.
Did you see him anywhere else during the
io
period
ero
of the
con poco-
war?
Io ero con poco al computer.
No, I never saw him anywhere else.
Io per televisore.
I know him only from seeing him on TV.
When did you see him on TV?
Estás na...
When this trial started.
Mr. Witness, you told us today that you don't know of any people detained at the Cookers Metal Factory during the period you were there.
Posso me avvertire su...
Correct, that's correct.
Your Honors, may I have again on the screen the photograph we saw earlier today, and I can provide again the ERN number just for a final question on this topic to the witness.
But we are not going into repetition on this.
No, I just wanted to clarify one matter concerning the positioning of the building.
Okay, because we have explored this matter. But yes, Madam Court Officer, can you please pull up the document as soon as we have the ERN number?
Yes, it is P00093 or ERN 074390.
Microphone, please.
Sorry. You also told us that you never saw this building. Is that correct?
Potreboval.
Yes, As I told you earlier, I didn't.
Mr. Witness, we have evidence that this building was standing in the middle of the courtyard at the Cookes Metal Factory. Is it your evidence that you never saw this building while entering the premises to go to the warehouse where you were working every day?
I don't remember this, prosecutor. Maybe it was there, but I have forgotten. I don't remember. I didn't look round. I just went to my workplace. I wasn't interested in other things. I wanted to do my job, and I didn't care about anything else.
Mr. Witness, while acknowledging that you should only give as evidence what you can remember, that's very important. I want to remind you that you have to tell the truth, and I also want to tell you that I'm trying to imagine what you're telling to us, and should I then understand that you would walk straight without looking left or right, without acknowledging anything around you when you were at the premises?
Maybe it was there, Your Honor, but I don't remember. I went straight to the warehouse. I have no idea about you are putting to me now. I don't remember. Maybe it was there, but I don't remember it.
Answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Honors. I will move on to another topic, and I believe I have really only a few more questions, so I'll probably be done in the next 10 minutes, I hope. This is just to give an update. I think this picture can be taken down at the moment. Mr. Witness, you told us that you were based at the metal factory until June, and you also told us today that after this, you returned to Kosovo, and you mentioned that at page 28, lines 5 and 9. Where did you go in Kosovo, if you can explain to us?
To my own home.
And where was that at the time?
At the entrance to Prizren, where I still live now.
Did you ever go to Nashets, Mr. Witness?
No, I had nothing to do with Nashets.
Mr. Witness, another soldier in Brigade 128 indicated that Brigade 128, after the war, moved to Nashets and saw you there.
I didn't go to Nashets. When the brigade withdrew from there and we went to Tropoi, I went there, but for a time I wasn't there. Only when the brigade withdrew and was transformed into the Kosovo Protection Force, I served in Dragaš for 2 years.
Let me see if I understand correctly. When the brigade withdrew, you went to Nashets. Is that correct?
From Nashets, I didn't stay there. I went with the logistic to Dragaš office, where we were displaced from there. I returned and worked with the Kosovo Protection Corps for 2 years in Dragaš.
So you went to Nashets, you said you didn't stay there. Can you perhaps explain why you went
Yeah.
there?
كل شو
I had the logistics duties. I carried them bread. Maybe some 10 days before they moved away from Nashets, I took them bread that I took in Prizren and went back.
How long did this taking the bread and last? If you can give us some time references.
نشتا مثلا
I don't remember very well, but it was very soon that we left Nashets. And then we went to Zum. And it was in Zum that I stayed in Dragaš for 2 years. I worked in the TMK, that is Kosovo Protection Corps.
Were you there at the time?
Madam Prosecutor, please, I have defense counsel standing. You have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. There was a reference to a soldier from Brigade 128, and we would like to know what is the reference so we can check, because from the documents we see in the queue, this might or might not be correct, so we want to verify before we make any objections.
Could you indicate to me about which line you are talking, defense counsel?
Absolutely, Your Honor. Page 76, line 24, 25.
Sorry. The question of Madam Prosecutor is, Mr. Witness, another soldier in Brigade 128 indicated that Brigade 128 after the war moved to Nashek and saw you there. And the question of the defense is, which soldier are you referring to? And what the basis are for this reference.
Sure, Your Honor. I'd be happy to provide it. However, I would request to go briefly into private session for this discussion.
Madam Court Officer, can you bring us into private session, please?
Your Honors, we are now in private session.
Thank you, Madam Court Officer. Madam Prosecutor, we have the witness here. Can this discussion be done in his presence?
Yes, Your Honors. This person is not a protected witness. We thought only just for reasons of privacy, maybe it would be better to pronounce the name in private session. But I think immediately after I can give the reference and then we can move back into public session.
Please proceed.
So this is an SPO statement of Idayet Gashi, and it's a statement that is listed as number 12 in our list of materials of presentation queue. The ERN is 065236 TRET Part 2. And the relevant page is page 11.
But from our understanding, why are reasons of privacy so pertinent that this could not be said in public?
It was just a reference to the name of the person who provided this information.
Okay.
But we can immediately move to public session, Your Honor. We just like avoid really...
No, yeah, but my question, defense counsel.
Sorry, Your Honor, thank you. This is not a witness in our case. This is not a witness that is protected. And then we would like to step back and object, say, why didn't they just put the name and ask about the information coming from the name? Maybe he knows this person. We don't have any opportunity to check this or to examine this witness, Hidayet. So maybe the way the question was framed, we don't even know for sure if he's from the brigade. So maybe they should have established some foundation, whether he knows this person or that the source could be made clear to him. But in any case, we don't see that this should be done in private session.
Defense counsel, I was exploring that. I mean, yes, yes. For me, it's not clear why we should do this if it's not a protected witness. Yesterday, I'm very keen on being in public when necessary, and reasons of privacy in general are not enough because that's the testimony they have given. So I think it is important to explore this a little bit further, because you put him somewhere where Mr. Witness is saying that, it's not clear where he was, if he was there and when he was there. So I would say let us go back into public session and then clarify this specific matter. I would say to have this in public.
Absolutely, Your Honor. We can move back to public and we can proceed accordingly.
Madam Court Officer, can you please bring us into public session, please?
Your Honors, we are now in public session.
Thank you, Madam Court Officer. Please proceed, Madam Prosecutor, with in mind what we have just discussed, that this should be done in public.
Mr. Witness, do you know a person called Hidayet Gashi?
I'm here.
Yes, I know him very well.
How do you know him?
I see him downtown. He moves around the whole day.
Did you know him at the time of the war?
Yo.
No. I don't know where he was. He himself said he was in 128 Brigade, but that I don't know personally.
So you're saying that you met him after the war. Is that your testimony?
After the war, yes.
Mr. Witness, Mr. Gashi stated that you were at Nashet's when he was also there after the war.
I did not see him. I don't remember. Maybe he was, but I didn't see him. Because, as I said, prosecutor, I did not stay in Nashet's.
But you said that you went to Nashet's at least on one occasion bringing bread. Is that correct?
Yes, not at least on one occasion, but for 10 days I went every day. I would bring them breakfast and lunch, but I did not stay there. That's why I didn't see whether Hidayet Gashi was there in Nashet or not. I don't remember seeing him. Had I seen him, I would have said so. There's no reason for me to lie to you.
Mr. Witness, were you in Nashet's at the time K4 arrived, raided the premises and released detainees from there?
Jo nuk kam qenë.
No, I wasn't.
Are you aware that K4 came to Nashet's and liberated some detainees?
Kur një mandej kur kom shku me shku drejt, kanë thonë ka qenë këfoj.
I heard, I was told that K4 was there. It's based on what I heard. I personally didn't know what happened.
Ajo pjesë.
I wasn't interested in that part.
But did you know then K4 liberated prisoners from the Nashet's base where the KLA was stationed? I understand you were not stationed there, but I understand that part of the KLA brigade was there.
Unë nuk e di që ka pas të
I don't know if there were detainees in Nashet. I don't have such information. I don't know.
To Defense Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Two quick points. We would like to know the purpose of these questions because they don't emanate from our examination chief and the link to the indictment is not very clear. If this is a credibility issue we don't see, since the witness has explained what his presence was, and we understand the general interest, without saying more, Your Honors, but we have to be cautious with the rules. We're not investigating anything here, and this is not why the witness is called. So if we can link this to some credibility issues, we're happy to listen to this. If this is linked to something in the examination in chief, we're happy to listen to it, but not more than that, we believe.
Thank you, Defense Counsel. Madam Prosecutor.
Yes, Your Honors. The purpose of these questions would really to test the credibility of the witness. We have heard the witness testifying that he didn't know of any detentions at the Kukas Metal Factory. We are aware of the fact that there were detentions in this other site where the witness, as he said, was for a period of time. So we wanted to ask him whether he was aware of whether he had no knowledge also of these other detentions. So the purpose here was really to test his credibility because we believe that any information or denial about these events are relevant for the credibility of this witness.
Thank you, Madam Prosecutor. I will allow for these questions already. I was allowing for it on that basis. Yes, we proceed. Madam Prosecutor, you have the floor.
Thank you. In any event, Your Honors, I'm done with this line of questioning. I'll move on to the last questions. Mr. Witness, I have just a few last questions for you. Did you tell anyone that you were coming to testify before the Kosovo Specialist Chambers?
Po.
Yes.
Whom did you tell?
Një shokit tem që kam qenë me ta.
A friend of mine who was with me.
What is the name of that friend?
Bashkim Hoxha.
Bashkim Hoxha.
Is this the only person you told that you were coming to testify?
Po vetëm me këta.
Yes, that's the only person I stay with.
Your Honors, I would like to show the witness some Facebook posts that we had included in our presentation queue, and I'll be happy to provide the reference if you allow.
Please proceed.
So this is item number 15 on our list. And I'll give you the ERN as well. It's SPOE 000341607 to SPOE 000341607 ET.
Please, Madame Kortewerse, proceed.
I don't know if you would assist the witness better to see the Albanian version of this item, which is SPOE 00341607 to 1614. And perhaps we can have the first page. Mr. Witness, can you see the this Facebook post on the screen?
Yes, I can see it, Prosecutor.
And it is, if I understand correctly, from Lahia Bayram Kurri Prizren.
Laja Bayram Suri neighborhood that is. There's a neighbor of mine who lives in that neighborhood, and I cannot stop anybody from posting things on their Facebook pages. I personally did not post anything. Nothing is posted on my name. I personally didn't make any post.
The witness. But you told us before that you only told one friend of yours that you were coming to testify to the KSC. Is that correct?
May I explain? If you see the notes that this post was taken from Bashkim Hojas to Bayram Suri neighborhood page. It's the same post. And as I said, I cannot stop anybody from posting things on Facebook.
Absolutely, Mr. Witness. My question was more how would this neighbor have learned about your testimony? May I have then another Facebook post, and this is number 17 on our list.
Please proceed.
And the ERN is SPOE 00341648 to SPOE 00341651. This is the Albanian, and then I can provide the English.
Yes, please proceed with also the English.
Which is 1648 ET. Mr. Witness, can you see this image, this Facebook post?
Ky e ka marrë postimin prej
He took over the same post from Bashkim Hoxha. I know this friend very well. He was in the war. His name is Horhana Badali from Jur village. He was injured, and again, I cannot stop him from posting things on Facebook. I think the original post by Bashkim, who was the only person who knew, was then reposted by others. I personally did not post anything, and nothing was posted on my behalf. Again, I cannot stop people from posting things on their Facebook pages.
That the source of this information is the same person, Bashkim Hoxha. Is that correct?
injete person.
Yes, it's the same person.
Postuar.
He made the original posts, and just like Laja Bayram Suri, this person also took over the post and reposted it. The post of Bashkim Hoxha. I did not make any post, prosecutor, and I usually don't post anything. You have my Facebook account, and you can see that I don't make such posts.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Can I just ask you to, if we can perhaps zoom in a bit in this post and just ask him to look at the first and the second line of this post. And I will be reading the translation in English, but of course the witness has it in Albanian. The Facebook post reads, "My comrade in arms, Nasser Koçina, has been summoned as a witness in The Hague. I know you will come back triumphant, O valiant man." Mr. Witness, what does this person refer to when saying that you will come back triumphant?
That I don't know, I cannot read people's minds, what they want to say. I cannot possibly know what he thinks. I can also write for him whatever I want. Your Honor, I cannot stop people from writing or tell them what to write. They can write whatever they want. They can write good things, they can write bad things, they can write nothing. So I have my friends, I have my circle.
You have given a clear answer to this, and I think you have explored enough this point. And I see you're standing, but I think we are there already. But you can make your point, but I think that the witness has made it very clear that what he can say about this.
Your Honor, I'll leave the second point, since I think it's already exhausted, but out of fairness in the proceedings, we should have shown the first post, since the witness said this is the original post. For clarity, the dates of the original post, for the record, Your Honors, that was reposted, and only the second one was shown to the witness. This is as a matter of fairness in the proceedings.
Could you give us the number of the first post? Because I would like to go there, just to have a clear understanding of the point you are making.
Thank you, Your Honor. Our understanding now will be corrected by my learned colleagues if I'm wrong. And the original post, that is the one from the 25th of September, is the one emanating from Bashkim Hoxha, and that would be number 21 in the list of the prosecutor. So I'll rather give the ERN SPOE 0034 1652 SPOE 0034 1652 ET, which we understand is the original post, which was followed by the two that were shown.
Thank you. No, let me put it in a question. Was this post not shown together with the other post next to each other? But that would be my question. If you say no, we leave it for here, but okay, please continue. And then we should have shown, in your view?
So this is, in our understanding, the earlier and the original post, as the witness referred, and then there was a reposting the following day, which was the one that was shown to the witness. Yes, and that one is what my learned colleague showed at SPOE 00 34 16 07.
I will give the floor to Madame Prosecutor to see if she can respond. But the one you are indicating to us, Mr. Houini, that should have been shown as first, this one of September 25th, I remember to have seen it just on my screen, but maybe I am mistaken. I will give the floor to Madame Prosecutor.
I am sorry. That was the point, because it is a reposting of the same content. That's why Your Honor's impression was that you saw it before.
Not this one, but anyway, Madame Prosecutor.
Your Honors, the question I had was really on the content of that specific post. I wasn't delving anymore into who was the source. The first post that Council is referring to, I believe, is number 16 on our list, ending in 1652. I'm happy to ask the same question to the witness with that first post, because I believe the content that I was exploring is also present in that very same first post.
Is that the point you wanted to make, Defense Counsel? It's not, my impression is it's slightly different.
Yes, Your Honor. Our point was a point of fairness, to start where the witness indicated the start of the posting, so it doesn't give the impression to anyone in this proceeding that this was an originating post from this second gentleman. Whereas it was a simple reposting of the original, an earlier post from Bashkim Hoxha. That was the point of fairness, not the content. The content is the same, but the sequence is of relevance here, out of fairness.
Madam Prosecutor, you have the floor.
Just to react to say, I think the witness explained very well that indeed was a reposting, and I had no further questions following that. I just put another post following that because it appeared to come from another individual, not the neighbor, not the first source. So I wanted to ask about that, but the witness clarified that in his opinion, everything came from this one person he spoke to, and that's what he said. What I was now exploring was something about the content of the post.
Yes.
But I'm very happy to go back to the original post in chronological order and ask actually the same question regarding that.
Thank you, Madam Prosecutor. With regard to the fairness point, I think it has been clear that the witness has made clear to all of us that it was a question of reposting. So I don't think there was any misleading or any making things unclear to the panel, or that the evidence was elicited in a way that did not represent what, according to the witness, actually happened. So we can proceed from this point on. And I don't think we have to put any further questions on this. Is there something you would like to further elaborate on with this, in this respect? Because I'm looking at the time. We are it's 35 minutes before our end time. And so I'm just looking into how much time you still need. And if we need to have a break somewhere, one way or the other, or if we can just continue till 4 o'clock.
Your Honor, if you may just allow me one moment to consult with my colleague.
And then I will also consult, liaise with the CMU. Madam Prosecutor?
Yeah, Your Honors, from our side, we are done with the cross-examination of this witness. And again, apologies for not keeping good track of the time. We will do better next time.
Thank you, Madam Prosecutor. Mr. Witness, the prosecutor's office has finished with its examination. I will now turn to Victims' Counsel to see if he wants to question you. Victims' Counsel.
No, we have no questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Then I will turn to Defense Counsel. Defense Counsel, would you like to have a second round, a redirect?
No, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. I will confer now with the colleagues to see where we stand, and I'm also waiting for the reply from CMU. Mr. Shala, you have the floor.
Your Honor, can you give me a 2-minute break? I need to go to the toilet, please.
Hearing for 10 minutes, Mr. Shala.
I just need 2 minutes, 2 minutes. There's no need for a longer break.
We'll have a longer break of 10 minutes. We will adjourn the hearing for 10 minutes.
All rise. All rise.
Please be seated. Welcome back. I note that we are in the same composition as before we adjourned the hearing for 10 minutes. I see Mr. Shala is with us, and I will usher the witness in for the last part of today's hearing. So thank you, Madam Court Usher, for ushering the witness in. Mr. Witness, welcome back for the last part of this hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You have been asked several questions by the defense team and by the specialist prosecutor's office. And now the panel will ask you some additional questions, and I will give the floor to the judge on my left-hand side, Judge BT, for some additional questions. Yes, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Presiding Judge. Mr. Witness, you said today on page 63, line 5 and 6, the doctor came to the warehouse where I was and got his uniform. Could you describe the uniform that you gave to the doctor?
A military uniform, a KLA uniform that I gave him.
Give him a beret.
I don't recall the beret, but I know that I gave him a uniform. It must have been a complete uniform, a set.
So medical personnel of the KLA did wear a uniform.
Yes, he had.
Being yourself a specialist in KLA uniforms, are you aware of KLA soldiers wearing a blue beret?
I don't remember that. There were only caps, not berets, where I was, in the warehouse. Caps with a visor.
Okay, so none of the soldiers to whom you gave a uniform had a beret?
No, we didn't have berets there.
Okay, thank you. When you went to work at the Cookes Metal Factory, did you have to identify yourself?
No.
So you could leave the Cookes Metal Factory and enter the Cookes Metal Factory at will?
Yes, because that was my work, how it was. When I needed to go home, I went home for my personal needs.
Guard at the entrance, checking the people coming in and coming out. Are you sure?
There was someone responsible, Saramati. He stood at the gate.
It was Mr. Saramati standing at the gate.
Yes, Sali Saramati.
You told us, I think, that you had the keys of the warehouse. Did you have them with you all the time?
I closed the warehouse, but when I went home for lunch, I didn't lock it. But only in the evening, I locked it.
I only want to have the keys of that warehouse.
Maybe the other one had a key, that is my superior. Probably he did, but I don't know. I was the one who opened and closed it For lunch, as I said, I left it open when I went home for lunch because there were other people there.
You were not the only one to have access to that warehouse and to be able to close or open that warehouse.
Io cazzo non la GP.
There was Recep too.
So we are clear that other people could use that warehouse when you were not there.
Kam u vetëm Recep.
Recep was the only one who could. Nobody else.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have no other question.
Microphone.
Mr. Witness, then we have reached the end of your testimony. And I would like to thank you for the effort you have put into giving your testimony, which I believe will be of assistance to the panel. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I also remind you that you shall not discuss your testimony with anybody, the testimony you have given here before the specialist chambers. Madame Court Usher will now assist you to go out, to leave the courtroom.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anything prosecution would like to raise with the panel? No? Victims' counsel, is there anything you would like to raise with us?
No, thank you.
Defense counsel?
No, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Madame Court Usher. Then we will now adjourn, and at the earliest opportunity we will inform the parties and victims' counsel when we will proceed. Yes. And then at this moment in time, before I adjourn the hearing, I thank the stenographer for her assistance today, and also the audiovisual booth and the IT, and our interpreters and security. The hearing is adjourned.
All rise.